Have you ever just stared at a glass of water? I mean, really looked at it? It seems so simple, right? So ordinary. But what if I told you that inside that glass is an origin story that stretches back billions of years to a time before our own planet even existed? Well, today, we're going to trace that journey together.
I mean, think about it. You drink it, you cook with it, you're mostly made of it. But if I asked you to trace it all the way back to its true origin, where would you even start? A river? A cloud? Nope. The real story begins in the fiery heart of a star that died long, long ago.
And right there, that's it. That's the one single mind-bending fact we're going to unpack. The water in your glass isn't just from Earth, it's an ancient traveler from the cosmos. So how is that even possible?
To get this, we have to go back. And I mean way, way back. Not just before the first oceans formed, but before the planet itself was even a thing. Okay, so right after the Big Bang, the universe was just this ridiculously hot soup of particles, way too hot for anything like an atom to exist. But as it cooled down, the very first and simplest element appeared: hydrogen. And there you have it, the H in H2O. So we've got one ingredient for our water. But where in the universe did the O, the oxygen, come from?
Well, for that, we needed something truly spectacular to happen. We needed the universe's first generation of giant stars to live fast and die in the most violent way imaginable.
Think of it like a cosmic recipe. First, you start with hydrogen, which was already floating around after the Big Bang. Then, these massive, ancient stars act like cosmic forges, smashing lighter elements together in their cores to create heavier ones, like oxygen. When these stars reached the end of their lives, they exploded in these brilliant supernovas, scattering all that brand new oxygen across the galaxy. And finally, out in the vast, freezing cold emptiness between stars, those lonely hydrogen and oxygen atoms found each other on the surface of tiny dust grains and bonded. And boom, you have H2O.
And this is the really crucial part to get. Water wasn't born on a warm, watery planet like ours. It was born in the absolute freezing darkness of interstellar space. It's basically an alien substance that's older than our entire solar system.
Okay, so now we've got all this water floating around in space. The next big question is pretty obvious. How did it get here? How did it get to Earth? Well, the answer involves a very long, very chaotic period of cosmic bombardment.
You have to picture the young Earth. It was this hostile, molten ball of rock, constantly getting slammed by stuff from space. But here's the twist. This chaos was actually a delivery system. Icy comets and asteroids, packed with that ancient interstellar water, just kept crashing into our planet for millions of years. Each one of those impacts was both incredibly destructive and incredibly creative.
And all that crashing and burning led to the next big phase of Earth's makeover. All that delivered water instantly vaporized on impact, creating this thick, steamy atmosphere. But as the planet finally started to cool down, that steam condensed, and it began to rain. And it didn't just rain for an afternoon, it rained for centuries, maybe even thousands of years, filling up the giant basins that would eventually become our first oceans.
And once that water was here, it never ever stopped moving. A single molecule of water is on this unbelievable endless journey. It might spend a week chilling in a cloud, then get locked away in a glacier for 100 years, or maybe seep deep underground for 10,000 years before it finally rejoins the cycle. The very same water in your body right now has probably been through dinosaurs, inside ancient rocks, and at the bottom of primordial seas. So how did this water go from just being on the planet to being the whole reason we are on the planet? Well, it turns out it's not just that life uses water, it's that life is only possible because of water's incredibly unique and kind of weird properties.
You know, scientists sometimes call water chemically weird. And honestly, we should be so glad that it is. Its strangeness is exactly what makes it the perfect stage for life to emerge.
For example, just take the fact that ice floats. That's bizarre, right? Almost every other substance gets denser and sinks when it turns solid. But because ice floats, it forms an insulating layer on top of lakes and oceans, allowing life to survive underneath in the winter. Water is also a fantastic solvent, dissolving all the nutrients our cells need to function, and it's amazing at stabilizing temperatures. These aren't just minor details. They are the fundamental rules that allow biology to even work.
This is so important to really let sink in. Water isn't some passive background, like the stage where the play of life happens. No, it's an active character in the play. It's shaping proteins. It's helping DNA hold its famous double helix structure, and it's enabling every single chemical reaction that makes you, well, you.
So now, let's bring this epic cosmic story all the way down to the most personal level possible, to the water that is literally flowing through your own cells as we speak. 70%, roughly. That's how much of the jelly-like stuff inside each one of your cells, the cytoplasm, is actually water. But, and this is the cool part, this water behaves completely differently from the water you'd find in a glass.
See, inside a cell, water isn't just sloshing around randomly. It's highly structured. It forms these organized, almost gel-like layers around proteins and membranes. It's actually slowed down, and it's constantly interacting with all the little machines of life, creating this perfectly controlled environment where complex chemistry can actually happen.
And it is always working. It's actively shuttling nutrients where they need to go, it's carrying away toxic waste products, and it's cushioning all the other molecules to keep that delicate, beautiful dance of life running smoothly.
And this quote just reframes everything perfectly. We tend to think of ourselves as solid, static things, but we're really not. We are processes. We are a constant, unbroken flow of matter and energy, and water is the one and only medium for that incredible flow.
So really, the next time you take a drink of water, just pause for a second and think about this. You are borrowing molecules that were forged in the death of a star, delivered to a young Earth by comets, and have been cycling through rock, air, and living things for billions of years. You aren't just a person, you are a temporary stop on their amazing cosmic journey.
When you drink a glass of water, you aren't just quenching your thirst. You are literally connecting yourself to the entire story of the universe. It's such a simple, everyday act, but its origins are truly and wonderfully cosmic. It kind of makes you wonder, what else do we take for granted that has a story this incredible?